clothes. Okay, can we have them back, please? Give them back now. You're on the plank. Give it back. Sorry. All right.
So how long have you guys been? Is this like a reunion tour for you two? It's like you guys seem to be like the team that they're throwing out there as like the pals,
the dogs.
the dogs of war.
We're the funny guys.
Yeah.
We're so wacky. You know.
How many shots did you guys have in together in this movie?
No one.
Not even one?
No, we had the gunfight.
The gunfight in the street. That's it. One.
I think that's it. One shot.
So were you just on set together between shots, becoming pals, or did you? Or were you just faking it?
We were crossing paths.
Personally and professionally.
And then I let the message for you on the phone, right?
Which is what?
In the conversation on the phone when you're in the hospital.
Oh, then he left the message, which is great. He left to Spain early because he had to go, I don't know, vacation or something. So he left the set early, and there's an earpiece that you can use. You can use a recorder and an earpiece. So I had to do this phone conversation with him, and they gave me this earpiece, and I said, I don't want to use an earpiece. You know, I hear about Brando using earpieces and all that. He starts talking like this. I go, I don't want to use the earpiece. And finally, we do the scene a couple of times, and Joel and Ethan are like, it's not really going well. And I was like, what's not going well about it? It seems fine to me. It's a simple telephone conversation. Finally, they go, why don't you just use the earpiece once? So I put the earpiece in my ear, and then they go, okay, ready, action. And I go, hello? And he goes, do you know who this is? And I go, yeah, I know who it is. And he goes, I'm in Spain right now on vacation on the beach. And I was so confused, my mind. And he had like recorded this whole fucking thing about I'm having the greatest time on the beach, you fucker, and you're working and I'm not. So literally, you see my face, just like, what's happening?
That's why it's on your back.
Right, exactly. That's why it's on my back. I'm just laughing the whole time.
The terror of Javier Bardem.
Working with Javier and the Coens just because they fuck with you so much.
And you actually do take a vacation every once in a while, because it seems like you work as much as any human actor in the last.
Me?
Yeah.
Come on.
No.
I've done 2 movies in 4 years. What are you talking about?
Well,
I'm poor. I mean, those clothes are not even mine, as we were saying before.
And we work for people who don't pay.
Exactly. I mean,
Woody Allen, the Coens.
Exactly. People ask me, how was that look? That look was in the movie because I was trying to get.
Thinking, what am I going to sell to be able to eat tomorrow? Because these guys don't pay.
Oh, I thought you meant your hair. I thought you were cutting your own hair.
Well, yeah, that look also happened every time I woke up and I took that shower and I dried the hair and it was like taking that shape by its own. And it was naturally, yeah.
How did they cut? Did you go to like some stylist who created the cut for you, and you figured out?
No, Paul, the hairdresser, did it like very fast and very like natural, and it happened, and I saw it, and I thought, well, this is great, but as you said, it was a curse because I had to wear that hair for 3 months. So,
but your hair is like
not only that, it's on film forever. And not only that, it's a good film, so people will actually watch the film from years to come and talk about his hair.
But have you seen Perdido Durango?
No.
No, that's hair.
That's hair. That's
yeah. Javier has some hair. Like your hair is one of your things. It seems like every movie, very different hairstyle. No?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You and Sam Jackson are kind of the hair guys.
Michael Jackson?
Samuel Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson.
What does Michael Jackson have to do with me?
I don't understand Michael Jackson's hair.
Well, his acting career.
His hair was great. The Thriller.
So how did you guys end up in this movie? You got a phone call from a Coen in the morning and said, "Come do the movie."
I'm sure he did.
I end up in the movie. It's obvious. But how did you?
How did you? Javier, we understand how you got the part. Josh, where have you been? And what have you been doing? No, it was a pro. He was already attached to it. Tommy Lee, I think, was attached. No, you were attached first.
Tommy Lee.
Tommy Lee. And I went through a process. I sent in a tape that Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino did on a $950,000 Genesis camera, probably the nicest looking audition tape in the history of audition tapes. And they saw me, and their response was, "Who lit it?" They weren't interested in me in the least. And luckily, I have an amazing agent who got a hold of Ethan's cell phone number and wouldn't leave him alone. And their last meeting with actors is they called me at the last moment and they said, "Okay, we'll meet him." And then I got the role.
So once you got in the room, it was,
I guess,
easy.
No, it was easy. I don't know if it was easy or not. It would just seem to. It seemed to make sense at the time.
Because it's a great thing for you to have.
I'm sure they'd recast me if they did it again.
Why? But there's a very easy, thing. Somehow there's like a connection between you and Tommy Lee Jones, even though you guys aren't in scenes together. There's kind of this.
You mean older, younger?
Older, younger, kind of a similar kind of restraint.
No, I've heard that before, and I don't know if that happened out of just researching the role and figuring out what I was going to do. I watched a lot of Tommy Lee's early movies. And trying to get his cadence down a little bit. Not thinking that I was playing a younger Tommy Lee, but I liked the connection between those two characters. Whereas the connection between our characters, I think we're very similar in principle. We're opposite ends of the spectrum,
So, in some ways, I think all three of you were kind of in that same. I mean, each of you had
Tommy's
your own moral
character-
code that was very specific to.
But I think Tommy's dealing with a lot more guilt, whereas we're not. I think we're still in our youth, and we still, it's step by step for us. Whereas his character is looking back on his life, going, "Why did I do that? What was that worth?" He's weighing everything out. I don't think we really weigh anything out.
Yeah. Just running.
And running toward and away from.
So did you have to kind of decide how did you decide to build your character? Your character is actually fairly restrained, considering how broad the character, some of the actions are. How did you pull that? What decisions did you make in the process?
I don't know. I guess it was all about what the book said and what the people and the characters, how they react to Chigurh and what they were talking, what they were saying about him. But at the end, it was I tried to do somebody that is emotionally disattached to people's feelings and even his own feelings, and try to not put much of an emotion in there, and try to be blank in a way. But that's what they wanted, the Coens.
So did they give you guys a lot of direction in terms of your acting, or?
And yet it's interesting, if you look at his character, as emotionless and detached as he played his character, there's always something human to it, which is, to me, I don't know if that's just because he's Javier and he can't help but be, Spanish and emotional. But when you see him in the bathtub and he's been shot by Llewelyn and all that, there's something very human about that, which is nice because it keeps it away from caricature,
Well, I think it's actually your eyes, and you're always, it's always something going on in there. It's why the See Inside works so well as well. Is that you don't need a lot of movement. You didn't like that so much?
No, I love that.
It's kind of a chick flick. Is that what you're saying?
I don't like that movie. Before Night Falls, I didn't understand.
I didn't understand any word he said.
But I thought he was good in No Country.
So when you go work with the Coens, it's kind of like they're the men, the mystery. They're one step removed from the Wachowskis in terms of being disappearing artists when they make their movies. They got you guys out here doing everything, but they're doing almost no press. So what's it like to go on that set, and is it a surprise? Does it work the way you expect it to, or are they like other directors?
I was amazed by the fact that they never had a fight with each other.
Ever.
Like, they always agreed, right? With each other. There's no black and white there. It's like they interact with each other in an amazing, really perfect way. And
it's almost strange.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. It almost doesn't make sense where it's not like they would finish each other's sentences. It wasn't that connected. They're obviously very separate in personality and demeanor, but at the same time, I don't think there was ever a disagreement. It was like, either it had been planned so perfectly before, but that's not, because there were so many obstacles that came up that we dealt with, or questions that we had. It's kind of supernatural.
When they direct you, do they direct you scene by scene? Each one does a different scene, or do they each come to you and whisper things in your ear when you?
Well, the violent scenes, in my experience, the violent scenes is about Joel. The sex hard scenes is about Ethan.
It's about Ethan. Because Ethan's such a sexy guy.
Yeah. Oh my God. No, both of them were directing. No, we're going in equal. Yeah, equally.
And what's it like being out there for month after month in the desert, or were you there a relatively short time? You actually?
No, I was there for 3 months. That was my curse. Because you are working like 1-2 days per week,
right?
And then the rest of the time people is working, and you are walking the streets of places that you don't know and you don't belong to with that haircut, and you go, what the hell am I doing here? And then they call you, we have to do one shot. You go there, you kill somebody, you go back to the hotel, you go, what the hell am I doing here? And you don't know what the rest of the cast is doing. You don't know what the rest of the movie looks like or is going to. So it was quite an experience for me to really. It was, I think, an exercise of really trust, totally trust that you are doing something that is in control of the Coen brothers, and they're going to put it together in a great way or whatever. But there was a moment where I lost it. I said, I don't know what I'm doing here.
So this is part of America. You're probably not going to hang out and.
No, I mean, I love the landscape, and he helped me a great deal to really love the landscape. He took me to a river once.
That was fun. I got the picture.
He took me to a river. He got naked. He jumped into the water. I was there with my umbrella because I could not take sun. And then there was a snake in the water. I was like freaking out like a lady. Like, oh my God, there's a snake there! And he was naked. The snake was here, and he grabbed it with a hand. And I said, "That's the man. He's a man. He's a man. Why the hell am I doing Chigurh if he's the man?"
Right.
Is it true or not?
It was true. It was true. I was in my underwear. I wasn't completely naked.
Oh my God, that's
I was in my
imagination.
cowboy hat and I was in my underwear, and the snake came and I picked up the snake, and he was so funny, man. He was like, "No, don't pick up the snake, you'll die." Like, no, look, it's okay. We had a good time together, though, man. We had a really good time. But yeah, he went into a depression at one point because he was like, he had SPF fucking 500 on his face constantly, had white face all the time. He got the haircut. You know, he's like, what? Like, why? Why? It's like torture. So we'd take him out and get him drunk and have fun.
And we went to the Cowgirl, which is a bar.
Went to the Cowgirl Bar a lot.
Which
in
is
Santa
the
Fe.
capital of
Lesbian capital of the world. Which wasn't obviously good for him.
Exactly. And that was it.
Yeah.
We ate burgers.
We ate burgers. He ate a lot of burgers.
I ate a lot of burgers because I thought the character has to be fat. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I know. It's
I just
totally
say that-
self-justified. I think this character has to be fat. Why? Just because I think he has to be. Because I'm freaking hungry.
Because I like cheese and fries.
I'm hungry. That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
So making a movie is not necessarily, this is one of those classic examples where the movie we see is nothing like the experience you guys are having making the movie.
Exactly.
No, we had a good time, man. I mean, you have to compensate with a movie that's this, dense.
Mm-hmm.
You have to compensate in some way. I mean, you can't stay in it the whole time. You lose something in yourself, and you can't sustain it, and it ends up working against you. So with this, and working with the Coens is great because there's not a lot of ego there. There's not a lot of bowing and kowtowing and all that. So it becomes about the work, and it becomes about having a good experience.
So can you tell when you're making it what it's going to turn out like in a movie like this? I mean,
that's what I was saying before. I didn't have any idea what it was going to look like or what the other actors were doing, and it's important because in a way we are all isolated from each other.
Right.
Even if we are chasing each other, we don't know what the other person is doing. But as an actor, you want to belong to the same project, and sometimes you feel like you are doing your movie and he's doing his movie,
right.
and you know what's going to look like. And when I saw it, I thought, well, everything is perfectly put together. No?
Right.
Yeah.
And so how is it when you get your first audience reaction to a movie like this?
Well, we saw it together alone. We saw it with a couple of people and friends and all that, and so that was a little jarring because there was no reaction. But when we saw it in Cannes, I think we were pleased. I think last night though we were the most pleased. I think because people
went crazy.
got. It's not that people went crazy because in Cannes they were really, but there's a thing with the Coens in Cannes and this and the idolatry and 10-minute standing ovation that's uncomfortable and all that, whereas this seemed to be. They understood the absurdity of it, they understood the humor of it, yet they were still caught up in the tragedy of it all. They just really seemed immersed and involved, and they really got it last night.
Yeah, they're pretty great
Not
audiences.
that Cannes didn't, but last night was something
in different
special.
ways.
In a different way.
Well, this Toronto is the one festival that's a big festival that's really about the local audiences.
Right.
At Cannes, it really is. You have to be pretty high.
In order to get
money
into
to get
the
into
film
the theater.
Yeah, exactly.
Here it's they sell 350,000 tickets to the locals.
Oh, do they
for the
really?
festival every year. Yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that.
I mean, Sundance the same kind of way. You don't get in unless you're really have a
Right.
pass and whatever. But here it's
Right,
actually
right,
the locals who are filling
right.
that theater.
Right.
So you get a very different vibe.
Which is nice. So basically, this is
Yeah.
a real reaction when
Yeah.
when the film gets released, and if that's the reaction of the people watching this film, that's
That's
great.
good. That was
Yeah.
great.
That's a great thing.
Well, did when people start talking about Academy Awards and about the movie being Best Picture and about because they're definitely, Javier is, Oscar bait every time he steps on the set these days.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of waiting for that.
You hear that?
It's
Yeah.
true. Well,
That's
you know,
Your mouth to God's ears.
but
That's right.
but you're getting just as much buzz in this picture. I mean, you're getting a great deal of buzz in this picture for your
I
performance.
think it's wonderful. I think whatever gets people to see the movie is great, and I think, you know, it's like what we were talking about. When you're doing the film, you don't know how the film's going to turn out. Now the film has come out, you don't know how it's going to be, the response is going to be. The response so far has been amazing. Whatever awards or accolades that come out of that is, you know, that's all icing on the cake. The fact is that both of us, I mean, very honestly look at each other and say, it's really, we're in a good film now.
Yeah.
It's really feels amazing to be in a great film.
Yes.
Does it change? I mean, the Coen brothers famously, their films are very different. You know, as you watch them a second time, a third time, a fourth time, a fifth time. You guys have had a chance to do that, where most of us haven't. Has it changed for you each time you watched it?
It gets better.
You see more.
First of all, the first time I saw with him, first of all, it's impossible to watch yourself. You hate yourself. You go, what am I doing there?
Afterwards,
Why
you're like,
did
oh
I
my
do
God.
that? Why I'm so pale? I'm so fat. I'm so big. I'm so ugly. And then you see it for the second time and say, okay, come on, calm down. You take a pill, like an anxiolytic, and you go and see it.
Yeah.
And then I start to really see the movie, and really enjoying it, and seeing with the audience. At the end, is the audience who puts the lace on it, no? Like, you think the movie is one thing, but until you see it with the audience, you don't know what the movie really is. And the great surprise is that how they reacted, and then you feel like, okay, that's the movie that we did, and I like the movie that we did. And as he said, it's amazing to belong to one good movie. It's not easy.
Well, how challenging is it? I mean, you've been with a lot of directors and a lot of movies that are considered good. Do you find it harder to find material? What is your process these days in trying to find what you want to do?
I honestly believe that beyond material talent and all of that, it has to happen something that is out of control. That it happens or it doesn't happen.
Right.
No?
Yeah, and a commercial movie that you may think, you know, is financially motivated can actually turn out to be an amazing movie. And a movie like No Country could have turned out horrible. And just because it's a Coen's film and just because it's an independent film or whatever you want to call it doesn't really mean anything. So it's elements that are out of your control of a film that you hope is good and doesn't turn out good. Or, you know, I mean, to me, if there's obviously has to be a hook there, and I think he and I are similar in that way, that we like to play characters that are a little.
So is that it? What's on the
different.
page first, or is it the director sitting down with the director and seeing that he can give you that room to work,
It's a
or
bit of both, you know?
so you don't have with one or the other it works and the other one doesn't, then you're not so much interested in doing
I think both of us, opposed to what you said in the beginning, I think both of us don't feel the need to work all the time just to work. I think we're a little more visceral in that we wait until something really hits us viscerally. You know what I mean? When the story goes like that, maybe the director's a first-time director. Well, who cares? If the story's great and you like the guy and all the elements seem to be in place, it's great. And then you go with it and you hope it turns out. You know, the thing about this movie is, you know, who knew, man? Who knew? And then you watch it and you go, oh, thank you, God. Thank you, it turned out okay. You know?
Would you want to play different kinds of roles? I mean, do you want to have, I mean, again, you know, you kind of have this stoic thing, this internal, you know, you feel stoic, you're a leading man kind of guy.
Yeah, but I also played a gay FBI agent. I mean, you know.
And you were great in that.
Thank you. A movie called Flirting with Disaster.
David O. Russell.
On the DVD.
I'll send you the DVD. I
And
get
you
the
should-
approval from Javier. You played gay? I did too! We're like the same.
And how was David O. Russell compared to the Coen brothers?
David was amazing, man. He's an amazing filmmaker. I didn't keep in touch with him so much, but he was great on that set. I heard that he kind of, but I don't want to talk bad about anybody.
Yeah.
I really appreciate him as a filmmaker. I thought Three Kings was amazing. I thought Flirting was great.
The Three Kings is the same director.
Same guy.
That was a great
Yeah.
It was a great movie. You know?
No, he does great work. It's just, it's funny how when like things happen on the set.
Whatever,
you're
man.
talking
You know
and
what?
talking and
Because of
talking.
YouTube and all that, not to go off on a whole tangent, but then you see YouTube and what happens on the set. What happens on the set should stay on the set. It shouldn't be on YouTube. And sometimes that needs to happen in order to spark something interesting in the performance. You know, for us, it was just incredible silence. So it was like, Jesus Christ, somebody do something here because nobody's saying anything. Whereas David, it's different. David likes to mix it up. David likes to do it a different way.
So do you
I
think?
don't think that should be for public consumption.
Well, should process be public at all? I mean, this is one of the things I've been fighting with the internet. I'm on the internet, but yet I, test screening reviews and script reviews and all this stuff. I always think, kind of gets in the way of the movie ultimately. Because
I think so.
the movie is what it is. There's no.
Let the movie speak for itself.
Yeah.
And then personally, we got to talk about things or whatever, and we tell stories and all that. But the whole point is not so you can get to know us better, but so you go see the movie, because that's the point.
Yeah.
It's about the movie.
Yeah.
So is Javier going to get you a role in 9? As
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
a singing.
I'll be playing his girlfriend.
Yeah.
one of 8 girl,
One
right?
of
8 and a
his
half
8
girlfriends.
girlfriends.
Are you excited about that?
Well, I don't know if it's gonna happen or not. Actually.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
it's. I'm sure that Rob Marshall, which I had the chance to meet, he's gonna do a great job. I mean, there's no doubt about it, and that is a great material. But there are some things going on that I have to see if
Right.
I am, I would say, the right actor to play that.
How's your singing?
Very
He's
good.
got a good
I'm not gonna
voice.
sing now.
Yeah, would you
I'm
sing
not
for
going
us?
to sing.
He's got a good
But
voice,
I'm
though.
an
man.
amazing singer.
Does he?
I mean, it's amazing.
Did you guys sing around the campfire together?
Yeah, with the
That just
guitar
sounds awful,
naked
doesn't it?
when we. I mean, so far I haven't killed anybody when I open my mouth.
That's good.
And that's that
But it's still early.
is exactly.
So what are you doing next? Is there a next thing, or are you kind of waiting for this to settle in and see how?
No, I'm not waiting for anything. I'm just, I'm looking. There's things out there, but I haven't read anything that I really, really like. Yeah, I'm sure I will. There's a lot of good stuff out there. There's
Yeah.
a lot of great new writing, and I think films that are coming out now, especially a film like this, I don't know. We're going back to something that's kind of great.
Well, do you think that the cowboy, this stoicism of this picture, which there's a lot of, means something other than the context of this specific movie?
Does it mean that we're going back in this cyclical thing of westerns and a guy
Well, do
who
you think
has
we're looking-
integrity and all that?
Yeah.
I think just as far as film goes, yes, I think you can see there is a fad right now, or a time that we're going through, where people are going back to this place of integrity and principle and all that, and they're exploring that again from a different point of view, especially because of the state that this country is in, our country, my
Mhm.
country, is in right now. That's being explored a lot more. Whether it's intentional or not, who knows?
Yeah.
Just maybe serendipity.
Well, it's interesting in this case that it's kind of like 3 different characters exploring those issues for themselves separately.
Exactly.
And then you have a movie like In the Valley of Elah, where again Tommy Lee Jones is doing a similar
Exactly.
thing. And it seems like for whatever reason we need
Which
to.
he hasn't seen yet. He's going to see on Monday, I think.
Yeah, it almost seems like we need to fly back into that and try to figure out what men are again.
Which is great, which
Yeah.
is really wonderful to go back and explore something essential.
It seems like time.
Yeah.
Finally. So I guess we're not going to sing.
No, I'm not.
But thanks for asking.
So if the morning comes in a couple months and you get the call from the Academy Awards, you get the call that you've been nominated. What's that?
I mean, there's a call for the Academy Awards.
But you got a call from your
you at home.
publicist.
That's right.
Hello, Javier. This is the Academy Awards.
This is the Academy Awards.
You are
How
so out of any nomination that you can't even imagine. You are
didn't-
so out.
You didn't get nominated, by the way. Did you? What? You woke me up to tell me that? Why?
Wait, have you paid your month?
Yeah, that's right. It's a month. Yeah. Academy Awards. Who knows, man?
Is it just so distant that it's not even really worth discussing at this point, or
It's for you to discuss on the internet.
is that what it's become? It's us versus you guys.
No, not necessarily, but it's not something that I don't think we.
It's
think
funny, I'm
about.
from Spain, and those things are so far away from I belong to that when it happened to me with Before Night Falls, I mean, of course, it's a great honor, and it's your vanity explodes, but there's a lot of work there, and there's a point where beyond the grace of it and the fact that some colleagues are thinking that your work is worth to watch, and be stressed. I always remember the huge amount of auto-promotion that you have to do, like a political campaign, where you have to really make people, think or feel that you are worthy
of that.
of an award.
Right, right, yeah.
It's
yeah,
a
yeah.
weird thing. It's the most weird thing.
It's wrong.
Are you willing to do? I mean, are you guys willing to do it again? Are you willing to do it again? Or are you willing to do it
But
the
of
first
course,
time?
this is a business. This is
Right.
a job. You want to keep on working. These things helps you theoretically to get better jobs or whatever. as you said, the most important thing, especially with some specific movies like Before Night Falls, maybe, which are tiny movies,
Right.
you want people to come and see it, so you want to promote, but there's a moment where that promotion doesn't take place anymore, and it's about your own promotion.
Right, and then
Right.
it becomes about vanity.
And that's weird.
But I
That's
think
weird.
honestly that we would do anything to promote these filmmakers because we like them and we think they're amazing filmmakers. And I think, you know, if we had gotten nominated for like Porky's or something, Friday the 13th, I think we'd feel differently. But I think because it's the Coens and they are who they are and we had the experience that we had, I think it would just be loyal to them all the way, in thoughts of them instead of us. That's so awful.
Is that the music on your phone? That's so cool.
It's kind of cool music. And you didn't answer it, which is so not LA.
Sorry, I apologize. I feel like Woody Harrelson right
Exactly.
But you're not smoking a doobie, so I'm not sure if you're like
won't say anything
problem.
about that. I don't think Woody smokes.
You don't think Woody smokes?
No.
No,
No,
that's
he doesn't.
He's never smoked again? No.
I don't think so.
Not
Not
gonna
that I've
happen.
ever seen.
Okay. Well, I don't know where to go from there.
I think we should stop there.
That pretty much kills the
I
whole
think we
thing.
stop there.
Once Woody Harrelson has stopped smoking, you know, we're in trouble.
Woody Allen smokes a lot. That I know.
Well, that's how he gets the young chicks. That's the trick. Thank you guys very much
Thank
for
you
your
very
help.
much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
I appreciate it.